All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the House Environment and Transportation Committee, Thursday, April 4th, 2024 voting session. We will start with concurrences. So again, these are bills we've gotten back from the Senate, so they're not on your voting list. First is House Bill 1199, Transportation Mobility Link Paratransit Service Improvements Study. The Senate struck a requirement to incorporate findings and recommendations into the 2050 Maryland Transportation Plan. My understanding is that plan is actually already complete, so it doesn't make sense to incorporate findings into that plan. And I believe the House sponsor is amenable to this. So the motion is to concur with the Senate amendments. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. And which to be recorded in opposition. Okay. The next is House Bill 120. This is Economic Development, Maryland Waterman's Microloan Program eligibility. Recall, this is the bill where the Senate amended on some changes to the oyster shucking grant program to make it a little bit more flexible and usable. And they, of course, made the same amendments to the House bill. I believe the sponsor, although I'm staring at him, can, yeah, I got the thumbs up. So the motion would be to concur with the Senate amendments. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of concurring, please signify by saying aye. Anyone should be recorded in opposition? Okay. Next is House Bill 364, which is a Prince George's County local bill. This came in as a broad monitoring bill. We amended it into a stop sign monitoring system study. They made a few changes to what we did. They removed the countywide limit and extended the pilot from 2 years to 5 years. The Prince George's County delegation support in the House supports these changes. So the motion would be to concur with the Senate amendments. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition to the concurrence? Okay. House Bill 807, Natural Resources Submerged Aquatic Vegetation Surveys. This the Senate altered the definition of SAV survey to include current or new surveys. So something of a technical amendment. The one word amendment, and the sponsor have it on good authority is okay with it. So I would move to concur with the Senate amendments. House Bill 807. Any discussion? And all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, passes. Next up is House Bill 486, Residential Property Sales, Contract Disclosure, Superfund Sites. Recall, this was the one where Senator Lewis Young wisely came over here and said the House got it right and the Senate got it wrong. After that, the Senate started making some changes. We've had a lot of sort of informal back and forth, and ultimately what the Senate passed is something agreeable to everybody. First is a committee amendment that is struck by the subsequent amendment, so I'll skip that. The second amendment was a Senate floor amendment to the House bill that conforms the bill to the Senate version as amended by the Environment and Transportation Committee. Specifically, the Senate floor amendment strikes the above amendment that I skipped over, removes the specific URL language in the bill. And that was the big issue, was the specific URL language. So that's a long way of saying this is really good now. Move to concur with the Senate amendments. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, passes. Next up, House Bill 165, Local Government Annual Auditing Reports, Requirements, Alterations. This would amend us to the Senate bill, adjusting the timeline to 2 years instead of 3 years, so when the discontinuance of state aid applies to a local government for failing to submit the required financial support. Adds disparity grants as part of the state aid that can be discontinued and clarifies where the funds revert to in those cases. I know there's a lot of questions about the disparity grants in particular, but the sponsor has asked us to go with the Senate amendments, and the subcommittee chair was amenable. So I'd move to concur with the Senate. Second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. House Bill 1101 is the Clean Water Justice Act of 2024. The Senate made technical and clarifying changes and altered language regarding a person's rights under the bill to bring a civil action and intervene in a civil action brought by the Maryland Department of the Environment. And I would move to concur with the Senate amendments. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition to the concurrence? Okay. And finally, for concurrences, House Bill 212, Vehicle Laws Noise Abatement Monitoring Systems Pilot Program. This was a 3-county pilot for these noise cameras. As we sent it over, it was Montgomery, Prince George's, and Anne Arundel County. The Anne Arundel County House members asked to be a part of this, but the Anne Arundel County senators did not want to be. So the Senate removed Anne Arundel from the bill and sent it back to us. Obviously, we need, 2 to tango. So I would move to concur with the Senate amendments. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Now on to our regularly scheduled programming, SB 42, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 42 is in the same posture as HB 113. It generally prohibits an adult who is present and directly supervising a minor from allowing the minor to ride a horse in specified areas unless the minor is wearing and properly secured a helmet that meets or exceeds the standards of the American Society of Testing and Materials for Protective Headgear used in equestrian riding. Move the bill.
Second. Bill's been moved and seconded. Of course, we've already passed this bill. Any discussion on the bill? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Okay, bill passes. I'm going to hold SB 943. Negotiations continue. SB 504, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 504 establishes a new regulatory framework that applies to recreational vehicle manufacturers and dealers, including new licensing requirements for manufacturers. The motion is favorable. I move the bill.
Second. Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? Okay, all in favor of Senate Bill 504, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Senate Bill 553, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion is favorable with amendments. SB 553 has been amended to be in the same posture as HB 437. Move the amendments.
Second. Bill's been, amendments are moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Second. Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of SB 553 as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, bill passes. SB 672, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion is favorable. SB 672 is in the same posture as HB 552, requiring that citations and notices issued as a result of automated enforcement be sent to the current mailing address on file with MVA. Move the bill.
Bill has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? Okay, all in favor of Senate Bill 672, please signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, bill passes. Oh, I'm sorry, Delegate Ciliberti is opposed to SB 672. Anybody else? Okay, we got it. SB 730, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 730 is in the same posture as HB 102. It prohibits a motorcycle passenger from riding on the seat at the rear of the operator if the passenger cannot position their feet firmly on the footrests while seated. Move the bill.
Bill's moving second. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of SB 730, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone should be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. SB 916, Madam Vice.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Subcommittee recommendation is favorable. It is as amended. SB 916 is in the same posture as HB 345, modifies the Endangered Species of Fish Conservation Act and the Non-Game and Endangered Species Conservation Act. Move the bill.
Bill's moving second. Any discussion? We good? All in favor of SB 916, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. SB 507, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Subcommittee recommendations straight favorable. SB 507 is in the same posture as HB 562 and it increases the annual fee for non-resident applications for a special Chesapeake Bay and coastal sport fishing boat license from $50 to $100. Move the bill.
Second. Bill has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, SB 507, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Okay. Bill passes. Senate Bill 508, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Subcommittee recommendation is favorable. SB 508 is in the same posture as HB 497, increases the fee for a non-resident Sika deer stamp from $25 to $200. Move the bill.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor of SB 508, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Does anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Silaberte, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Delegate Naraki, Delegate Baker, you're going to lose your membership on ENT. You can't support some of these fees. Bill passes. SB 597, Madam Vice.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Favorable with amendments as amended. SB 597 is in the same posture as HB 773 and establishes the Individuals with Disabilities and Service Disabled Veterans Boating Fund to provide sailing, boating, kayaking, canoeing, paddle boarding, and surfing opportunities for individuals with disabilities and service disabled veterans. Subcommittee amendment strikes funding authorization. Move the bill.
Second. Amendments have been moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed to the amendments?
Move the bills amended.
Any discussion on SB 597 as amended? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? All right, bill passes. SB 683, Madam Vice Chair.
Ooh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Straight favorable. SB 683 is in mostly the same posture as HB 561. It removes a statutory limit on fees applicable to licensed street experts, subject to explicit caps on the amounts of certain fees. In addition, the bill authorizes DNR to permanently revoke or temporarily suspend a tree expert license if the license holder fails to maintain liability properly or workman's compensation insurance as required by law. Move the bill.
Second. Bill's moving second. Any discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back, Mr. Chair, sorry. Triple E had a committee amendment which adds non-substantive standard DLS reporting language. Move the Triple E amendment.
Second. Okay, we don't have an amendment though, so I think they adopted it over there. And you're just describing what they put in their bill, so we can just move the bill.
Okay,
So
move the bill.
bill's moved and seconded. Discussion on SB 683. All in favor, signify by saying aye. And in which record in opposition, Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Okay, bill passes. Senate Bill 259, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Straight favorable. HB 228 is a departmental bill that grants additional flexibility to DNR in spending funds allocated to the department under Chapter 39 of.
Sorry, I'm not sure. Maybe I have the wrong list. Are we on 259?
I have two, yeah, SB 259.
Was that 259? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead. All right, my fault. Keep going.
Oh.
You're right.
Oh,
It's
okay,
me.
sorry.
It's me.
Okay, all right.
It's not
all right.
you. It's
It's your fault. So it's a departmental bill that grants additional flexibility to DNR in spending the funds allocated in the department under Chapter 39 of the Great Maryland Outdoors Act and spending the deadline by which DNR must spend certain funds in the park system capital maintenance fund, and two, expanding the purposes and authorizes uses of the park system capital improvements and acquisition fund and the Great Maryland Outdoors Act fund. Move the bill.
Second. Bill's moving second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of Senate Bill 259, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Senate Bill 740, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a straight favorable. SB 740 authorizes a court to prohibit a person from operating a vessel on the waters of the state for up to 2 years or 5 years if the violation resulted in death. If the person is convicted of operating or attempting to operate a vessel while under the influence of alcohol, the bill subjects a person who operates or attempts to operate a vessel on the waters of the state while prohibited from doing so to specify criminal penalties. Additionally, the bill requires DNR in cooperation with NRP to establish and maintain a database of persons prohibited from operating a vessel on the waters of the state. There were some additional amendments. I want to kick it over to council to explain just a bit more.
Well, the additional amendments are actually on the House bill,
Yes,
the next bill. This bill is straight favorable.
okay. Move the bill.
Second. Delegate Ciliberti.
I guess it's fairly obvious, but you can't be using any vessel if you're juiced. So why, it's already a law is what I'm trying to say. Is that right? No.
No, actually, it's
No.
not. Yep.
No.
What the prohibition is against is when if you get caught drunk boating, then you get suspended for a year from operating a boat. There's no boat license. But there's no prohibition on using a boat when you're suspended.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Any further discussion? All in favor of Senate Bill 740, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, bill passes. House Bill 770.
Thank you. Oh, I see this was backwards. That's why. Sorry about that. On my list, it was backwards. That's why I kicked it to council. My apologies. So, HB 770 is favored with amendments. HB 770 authorizes a court to prohibit a person from, again, operating a vessel on the waters of the state. The subcommittee amendment established a prohibition of and the penalties for operating or attempting to operate a vessel on the state waters while prohibited for a drunk boating violation. Move the amendment.
Second.
Amendments moved in second. Discussion of the amendments. Delegate Jacobs.
Patrick, I mean, it's alcohol, under the influence of alcohol in the title, and I'm pretty sure it covers, drugs as well, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Quite welcome.
Any further questions on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed to the amendments, pass.
Move the bills amended.
Second.
Bills moved in second. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of SHB 770 as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? Bill passes. SB 879, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Straight favorable. SB 879 is in the same posture as HB 857, which modifies the hours that an aquaculture leaseholder may harvest shellfish to be the hours established by DNR and regulations. Move the bill.
Any SB 879 is moved in second. Any discussion on the bill?
Five
Oh,
hours.
All in favor of SB 879, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? Bill passes. SB 915, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Subcommittee recommendation has a technical amendment. With the technical amendment, SB 915 is identical to HB 979, which has been, of course, returned past. Committee amendment makes a technical correction. Move the amendment.
Amendments been moved in second. Discussion of the amendment. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed to the amendment, amendments pass.
Move the bills amended, Mr. Chair.
Any discussion on SB 915 as amended? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? I think you want to check your vote before, okay. Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. SB 430, Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 430 codifies an existing fund within DHCD. Move favorable.
Bills moving second. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of SB 430, signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Jacobs. 430, yes. Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. Okay. Bill passes. SB 659, Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 659 makes a couple tweaks to the Prince George's Gateway Development Authority. Move favorable.
Bill's moving second in. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of SB 659, please signify by saying aye. Anyone should be recorded in opposition? Bill passes. House Bill 449, Chair Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill authorizes annual funding of up to $20 million beginning in fiscal year 2026 for the Comprehensive Flood Management Grant Program and requires that a specified percentage of funding under the program benefit underserved or overburdened communities. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes language that would have mandated funding and instead authorizes the funding. Move the amendments.
Amendments are moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Delegate Jacobs.
This was in Environment Subcommittee, so I'm not really sure exactly what those amendments are doing, but is this a shall or a may on that funding?
With the amendment, it's a may.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. And opposed to the amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Any further discussion on House Bill 449 as amended? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Senate Bill 148, Chair Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As amended, this bill is in the same posture as House Bill 449, which we just approved. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes language that would have directed funding to certain areas that are at extreme risk of flooding. Move the amendments.
Amendments have been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. And opposed to the amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 148 as amended? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? Bill passes. Senate Bill 135, Chair Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill establishes the work group to study funding for the Western Port Wastewater Treatment Facility. The amendments alter the membership of the work group. Move the amendments.
Amendments have moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments?
Move the bill as amended.
SB 135 has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? All right, bill passes. Colleagues, that is it for our voting list today. We will have to meet further for concurrences and a couple of stray bills that are still circulating out there. But we don't have a set meeting time yet, so please keep an ear out on the floor for when we will next meet as a committee. As a reminder, we're back on the floor at 4:30, so don't get into too much trouble before then. Appreciate it. See y'all later.